Good evening, friends and family. Turn the fan off. Good evening, friends and family. Today we did kiting. What kiting is you start with the wing laid on the ground in a particular fashion. You're wearing a harness, and then you pick the ends of the wing and you clip them into your harness. From there, you run forward, which inflates the wing, and the wing comes up overhead, and you continue to run forward. As you're running forward, you're holding your hands up like this, and in each hand you have what are called brakes, and the brakes allow you to steer the wing like so, and the objective is to keep the wing over your head. And this is a fundamental practice of paramotoring because as I mentioned in the first video, what keeps the wing inflated and what holds its shape is air hitting the front part of the wing. And so you have to keep moving forward if there's low wind in order for the kite to remain inflated. And so it's good practice because everything that you do while kiting the wing on the ground is applicable for when you're in the air. And it's the first practical of the training because it's fundamental to everything that you do. If you put in the wrong input, the wing will, well, it'll hit the ground or it'll deflate or any number of things will happen. These runs are called forward inflation because you start with the wing on the ground behind you, you run directly forward, the wing comes up overhead like so. Did this about 10 times today. I got video of I think most of them. What I'll show you is, I'm not going to show you all of them because some of them look a lot the same, but they will be in the order. So you'll be able to see the first kite that I did. At the very end of it, the instructor walked over and asked me how many times I've done that before, and to which I replied 0, because I've never done this before. And so he's like, I could have swore you were going to say that you'd done paragliding or some other related activity. I think it's beginner's luck. I have watched a lot of YouTube videos and I kind of imagined myself doing it beforehand, but as with a lot of things, you just pick up and fumble through. In my experience, you tend to do really well at the beginning, but then once you start learning about how to improve, you'll try to do those things that actually improve you, but you'll forget the major things, and so you'll put the small improvement in front of the major things, and you'll end up making large mistakes because you're focusing on some smaller aspect of it. So we'll see how that plays out. This first rodeo, I did have a number of failures. The first, I think I was successful at first because it didn't require a lot of power for me to inflate the wing. The reason for this was when we first started, the wind was fairly low, and so when there's lower wind, and this is me as a novice speaking, I'm sure the flight instructor has something very different to say, but when the wing is coming up over your head, the amount of effort required is fairly constant. However, when there's more wind, the amount of effort to go from here to up overhead is a lot more, because when it's halfway, it's like catching the wind and pulling you back. And so I wasn't, as my instructor said, given enough cowbell, and so it kind of petered out and fell back down. So that's what you'll see in some of these fail to kite. I was doing other things wrong, but I think that was the main one that I wasn't doing right. But then you'll see I picked up, add more cowbell, and the wing came up overhead, and once I got it overhead, I was pretty much good. So I'll cut those in right here, and I'll catch you on the other side.
go. When you're ready, sir, arms all the way back, as far back as you can get them. Come to me. Kite that wing. Keep running, keep running, keep running, keep running, keep running. Step a little bit just that way. Now step a little that way. Keep coming, keep faster, faster, faster. Don't look up. Run. Run faster. Left pressure, left pressure, left pressure. Left arm, there. Hand back up. Keep running faster. Not look up. Never to look up. There you go. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Excellent. Look at those wingtips. Look at those wingtips.
After we got back from kiting, we were orientated on the chassis and the motor. Basically fundamentals of what's what, how and why it works, and how to do pre and post flight checks. We were told that this was, going to be hammered into us over the next of the next 2 weeks. Once we got done with that, a very large storm rolled through at about 5 o'clock, maybe 4:30, and it was so much rain that the instructor called it again, just like yesterday. So we only got one stint outside once again. The instructor let us out at 6. And I'll leave you with a quick clip of the storm that rolled through, so you kind of get a feel for what's normal in the Florida wet season. All right, guys, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, man.